As a real estate business coach, one of the very first challenges that I have to face with you is how do I solve the riddle of lead generation? So in this video, let's dive into how do we figure out what the right lead generation system or source or type is for you specifically. So let's dig into this one. If you're a brand new agent, this is the single most important first business decision you're going to make. And if you're a veteran agent, this is what you and I are always talking about, is how do we help you go more all in and get more focused, and how much more can we create from one source that you're already really good at and remove the distractions of all of the other noise. So let's dig into what I refer to as the riddle. So step number one in the evaluation with you is to learn more about you, the player on the field. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are you willing to do? What are you not willing to do? What resources do you have? How much confidence and knowledge do you have with the marketplace and the product, right? What past training do you have in other industries, in sales and in marketing? Kind of what are you bringing forward? Do you have, master's degrees? Do you have, have you raised kids? Have you been in a marketplace for a long time or have never been in that marketplace? So let's kind of debrief this real fast. See, I was a new agent in San Diego 5 years ago. Now, wait a minute. I'm Patrick Ferry. I'm Mike Ferry's son and Tom Ferry's younger brother, and I've been in the real estate training and coaching industry for 20 years. But I married a real estate agent here in San Diego. And so when I was getting my license, I was like, okay, well, I'm a coach. I know what to do, right? Okay. So here's where it began. It was really funny because there was all of these options, as a coach and as a trainer with my brother's company, Tom Ferry, there's like a million different ways to be able to create a new lead. And I love what Tom says, there's no wrong way to generate a lead. But let's take a look at this. So here I am. I'm now licensed, right? Working with my beautiful wife and great father-in-law. And I have to now make a decision. How am I, Patrick Ferry, going to go tackle this market? Well, I'm in San Diego. I knew nothing about San Diego. I'm from Orange County. I went to college and I went to 2 different high schools in Orange County. I basically know everybody in Orange County. I went to Orange Coast College. I went to Chapman University. I played soccer. I was a volleyball player. I knew everyone. I had a huge family in Orange County between the Ferry family and the Wesley family. I knew a bunch of people. So I had a huge sphere. In San Diego, I knew no one. I didn't have any sphere. I moved down here to marry Carly. So I have zero sphere. I have zero network. I have zero kind of relationships. See, that's important information, right? Now, second thing is my past experience. See, I worked with my dad's company for 10 or 12 years. And so I had learned all of the main sales skills. I learned how to make phone calls. I learned those skills. It's not naturally intuitive to my personality type. My personality type is very analytical. I'm really into the information and the technical side of things, which is why I gravitated towards marketing and online and all these new things that I can learn and figure out. That's what I enjoy doing, right? What makes me a better coach versus an agent. But my background in training was in the cold calling. So, does it make sense for me, if you were my coach and you saw me as a player on the field, you're like, okay, I've got Patrick Ferry here. He's in San Diego. He doesn't know anything about the market, right? Doesn't know anyone, and we've got all these options, right? So, would the by referral only system work for me? No, because I don't know anyone. There's no way it's going to refer me business because they all know that I don't know anything, right? So this is where, if I defaulted back, where I started creating success was when I started to get on the phone and make the phone calls to cold calls for sale by owners and expireds, non-owner occupieds. And again, that solution worked for me for very specific reasons, right? So that's kind of an example of what we're talking about here. Now, when I'm dealing with new coaching clients all the time, what works for me, if I tried to cram that down your throat, that would be a disaster, right? Now, if you had similar circumstances like me, you had the right personality type for cold calls in for sale by owners and expireds, you had the right marketplace for that, and you had lots of sales training, and you were like gung-ho, you were all going after it, great. Okay. What I've also noticed is some people have no problem calling all their friends, their sphere, and saying, hey, who do you know? And I have some people who are like, would never ever do that in their lifetime. And it takes tremendous effort for them to actually ask a friend for a referral, for an introduction. Others, no problem, super easy. See, riddle number one is, who are you on the field? I've had some people who are absolutely dead broke. Other people who have huge amounts of income to just invest into lead generation. See, some people have high sales skills. Some people have zero sales skills. So again, step one is there's you, the player, your strengths, your weaknesses, your resources, your willingness, are you a high entrepreneur or are you super conservative? Where are we at? Number two is the market. See, the market is a major player. Let me give you a simple example of how a market differentiation is. See, in San Diego, I know exactly how many for sale by owners and expireds show up every year. I track it. The number for sale by owners is completely different than my friends over in Salt Lake City. See, in Utah, on average, and I don't know what it is today, so don't quote me on that, but last time I was looking at it, you can get 10 to 15 new for sale by owners per day in Salt Lake City, Utah in the marketplace. Contrast that to San Diego. We're lucky if we get maybe one new for sale by owner per day. So the market is completely different. So the difference between what works in lead generation in the high end, average sales price 2, 3, 4, 5 million versus the average sales price 200, 300, 400. See, the marketplace, is there a lot of people moving into your marketplace? Is there a high buyer demand? Is there a lot of people moving out? Is there any other variations of different transactions occurring? Do you have a lot of condos? Do you have a lot of multifamily? Do you have only single family? Do you have a lot of new construction? Do you have zero new construction? Are you by the coast, not in the coasts? So on and so forth. Do you guys follow me? The market is super important to be aware of, and there's different trends inside of that. So different lead generation systems can work beautifully or fail miserably. Okay, so there's also something I would like to say about marketplace too, is there's also some cultural mindsets and the types of people that live there. I noticed for me in San Diego, thankfully, there's Qualcomm and the military are some of the biggest players here, and biotech and tech has been very strong. So there's a lot of analytical personality types here in San Diego, which was great for me as a high analytical. But if you were like a real strong driver type and you're constantly banging heads with all these analyticals, these engineer nerds like me, right? That's kind of a problem. So I noticed that there's like some cultural threads that are going on there that were super important to be aware of. Okay, now last thing in this riddle is all of your options, all of the lead generation source options. What do I mean by this? Well, I mean, you can pay for leads. You got Zillow, Redfin, Lista Leads. You got all the referral source companies now, the home lights. There's all these Facebook, companies that'll sell you a bunch of Facebook leads, you got pay-per-click, there's all these pay-to-play games that are available to you. Then there's all the big marketing, suites that are available to you. Hey, we'll, do all these direct mail marketing, and, we'll do all this marketing for you. Give us $2,000 and we'll go market you to the world. Cool. Then there's all of the, as Tom refers to as sweat equity, which is, kind of what my father would refer to as prospecting, right? Just cold calling or calling expireds, or, doing just sold phone calls, door knocking, cold doors. There's, there's geographic farming, there's, open houses. There's all these different variations of lead generation systems, whether or not for buyers or for sellers. All of them work. Wait, all of them work? Yep, all of them work. All of them could get you a sale. One sale. Every single one of them. Because let's be honest, if you just talk to 30 to 40 people and you don't say anything too stupid, as my father would always say, you can get a sale. So with all of these different lead generation sources and systems and lead types, if you just talk to enough people and you don't say anything too stupid, you can get a sale. But that's not really what we're talking about here. What everybody is looking for when they hire a coach like myself, or, with my brother's great company, right? What you're looking for is you're looking for how to scale a lead generation system so that you can create financial security and you can create the income that you desire. Because making one sale, two sales from a source is not really what we're talking about. Is, can you take on this lead generation system and create one sale per month for the rest of your career? And is that system something that you can scale up to 2 sales, 3 sales, 5 sales per month, right? And that's actually where this riddle really starts to kick in. Is, see, now you understand why this is actually so challenging. Now you understand why the failure rate in this industry is so severely high. Now you understand why one, let's just say a coach or a training or a brokerage or a broker who says, hey, this is how you do it, why that every single one of the people who's telling you how to do it today has top agents who are super successful, and also a bunch of people in the middle and a bunch of people who have tried it and failed. Because all of them work, but just, do they work for you, your market? And is it scalable for you and your market? See, this is why I call it the riddle, because everything works. Everybody can create a sale with one thing if you just grind it out. But is that really long term, over the next 5 years, is this the right decision for you to go all in on? And what I'm going to work with you on the next, the next video is what I refer to as the framework to master a lead source. The framework to master a lead source. That's what I'm going to help you guys with. But first, we got to pick. And we got to pick well. Now, do you need to probably test and try a few things? Yes, you do need to test and try a few things. Because if you don't have what Gary Vaynerchuk talks about, a lot of self-awareness about what your strengths and weaknesses are, if you don't have a really clear understanding of the market and the trends, and you don't have a really clear understanding of all of the different lead generation types and sources out there, sure, you do need to test and try, but please test and try knowing that you need to find the one or two that you need to go all in on, and you need to be able to evaluate that, whether or not it is something that you can scale and go from one sale in 90 days. Can you go to 2 sales in 90 days? Can you get to 3 sales in 90 days? And could you get to 5 sales in 90 days? If you mastered that lead source. So, if you have any questions about all the lead generation systems, put it down below. I'll do my best in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer. If you'd like to learn more about, coaching with me to help you to solve this riddle, right? Give me a call and let's talk about that. Use all the information down below, right? I'm here to help you guys win this game. What I've learned in my 20 years of experience is when I find what the right 2 lead generation sources that an agent can go all in, and it scales and it's perfect for them personally, and it's right for the marketplace, and it's got a good return on investment, that's when they win, and this business is unbelievably awesome. So let me know how I can help you in the future with your lead generation system and source and the riddle.